Hello and welcome everybody to Dodge, Parry and Roll, your fortnightly Australian independent video game and existential crisis show. I am your host for this evening, loaded up on hayfever tablets, Joshua LaRosa. Oh. I nearly just introduced myself and then said hello as if I'm like a second person.
Oh man, you're high. You're high on Clarentine, Zyrtec, and Telfast.
Look at these eyes. What do these eyes tell you?
They tell you they're puffy.
They've
seen some things.
They've seen some things. And that voice you hear, that sexy toned, you do have a nice voice. Vinnie Chance. How are you?
Oh, good man. Thank you. I actually don't really like my voice, so it's funny. I actually like your voice.
Really? I hate my voice.
Yeah. See, I hate my voice. I think it's a common thing. Like everyone hates their own voice.
Yes. I don't like I like my voice until I hear it. And then I'm like, in my head, I don't sound like that.
Yeah. And I feel like everyone says that I'm super monotone, and I know that I am, but I really try to put emphasis in my voice. It just never shows.
Never shows.
I have no tone.
And I find my voice to be of a higher pitch, but when I hear it back, I sound deeper than I realize. Like right now, I sound deep. Because
I sound deeper than I realized. I didn't realize how deep my voice was until we actually started one of our mini podcasts.
Yeah.
Our many failed podcasts.
Yeah. I've got a good feeling about this one though. And today's episode in particular, I feel like the influx of whatever is in these tablets is going to do wonders for us. So.
Oh yeah.
But it's been.
You're inebriated.
I'm something. It's been a week. It's been a fortnight. How you been? What's been going on? You've been out and about. I've been hearing and concerts and socializing with people like some sort of youngin. What's going on?
Oh man, I tell you, I've tried to do the young things, but I do not feel young. I had like low blood pressure and dizzy spells on like the weekend because I'm apparently 74, not 34.
Say that again.
I had a full dizzy spell and like low blood pressure on the weekend. I was like,
how are we feeling?
We're still back in these headaches. You know what? They've gone. Today, first day I felt great in ages.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
You one of those touch wooders? Do you do that?
I am. Yeah.
Man, my
you a
wife.
Touch wood guy?
No, I'm not a touch wood guy. My wife is a massive touch wood woman, in more ways than one. She's all into all that stuff.
That's why you got one kid and the second one on the way.
Yeah. Too much wood being touched. She's all in that, and I am the opposite. Like I like tempting fate because I believe.
So you're not superstitious at all.
I'm superstitious, but I actually think like the touching of wood is like calling it upon yourself. Like you're nearly tempting fate by tempting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like touch wood. You're already like. Where for me, I tempt it. I will often say, like, what's the worst that can happen? And everyone's like, oh, don't say that.
Yeah, don't say that. So if she can't find wood, does she do this? She
does the head tapping, yeah. So I often make fun of her and, like, start tapping, like, random parts of my body. I'm like, touch wood. Like, and that's a real, like, us Europeans, like, I'm half Maltese, my wife's full Maltese, and I'm half Italian. You're obviously... No, I always say obviously, like people know, but you're Italian, right? And we have these things. Us.
Yeah.
Vogs.
We have our traditions.
Very superstitious people, all right?
Yeah, very superstitious. Have you heard the one where it's like no new shoes on like an elevated surface?
No, that's new. Tell me about this one.
So apparently that's bad luck. Like your feet being off, like your feet being off the ground. In a sense, being like, you're going up in life. You know what I mean? You're moving up to the big man upstairs. So
literally going up. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you want to stay grounded.
Gotcha.
Another one is if you drop a fork or a knife on the floor, you get like an unexpected guess. If it's like a fork, it's a woman. If it's a man, if it's a knife, it's a man. I don't know.
So you're there throwing forks everywhere.
I do not want any unexpected guests.
Yeah.
You know us. We don't like people.
No, not a big fan at all. Yeah, there's that stuff, and then there's like, I don't even remember.
Under a ladder.
That stuff. They're the classics, right? The umbrella, the window, the umbrella, the walking under a ladder, and then there's like the weird like. Some of the Europeans are into like this eye thing, like some sort of evil eye.
Oh, the Malocchio.
Yeah, that's another thing, and I'm like,
Yeah, the evil eye.
People would have been burnt at the stake for some of this stuff. All right, let's just ease up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily believe it.
I reckon the witch trials were just a whole bunch of Italians just in.
Yeah. And this is like a hand gesture thing too that Europeans do. Like, that.
Little, like,
Yeah. So
yeah,
you see the old ones
devil
under the table, like launch one of those.
Yeah.
That's another thing I make fun of my family and my wife's family.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I got where are my keys? But I have a little. People think it's a pepper. The little red thing on your people have it. It's like a little. It's called the corny.
Oh,
It's a little. It looks like a little chili. You ever seen that? It's like the ward off evil.
Yeah.
But it's actually not a chili. Fun fact. It's actually a horn. It's supposed to be like a devil horn.
That's the odd thing. A lot of the things that we do, it's like the evil eye. Well, I'm shaking my desk here. The evil eye. At what point are we just like...
You're welcoming it. You're welcoming it.
Why don't you just walk around with a picture of Satan and be like, well, I'm holding this picture, so that means... You know? Like, what are we doing?
It's fine.
Yeah.
How many Jesus calendars did your nonna have?
Oh, still has. She does this thing once a year when she gets it from the church where she puts all the birthdays in, you know?
Yep.
And it's like...
Yeah, classic.
Holding on, you know? It's still behind the pantry door. The same place it was when I was 3 years old. But God bless him, you know? Keep on.
Exactly. God bless him.
God bless him. Well, thank you for joining this episode of the Catholic podcast. Oh, man. But it has been a fortnight. I'm going okay. Besides the hay fever, which hit me like a ton of bricks in the last 2 hours. Right?
Yeah.
I got home about 4:35 and, it's Monday. It's bin day. I brought all the bins in. It's been very windy. So my whole front yard was full of other people's trash, which was fun. So I don't know if that interaction with the front yard kind of set me off. Because since then, I've just been sneezing up a storm, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
So that's been rough. But no, it's been a busy 2 weeks. Today, I don't know, it's kind of this chronological story I've been telling over the last few weeks around the new role, the project, this presentation, timings of things happening.
Hey, give us an update.
So today was the big day. Today was the presentation. So fortunately, the hay fever wasn't there because that would have been a disaster. So I was hosting this thing. But that was today. We had an hour-long presentation that we had to do between me and two other colleagues. Aced it. Absolutely. I've never walked out of a meeting not hating myself. Like, I usually walk out hating everything I said. Right? I was like...
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, that's such a good job. And I'm like, that was terrible. I hate it. I wish I could go back in time. I used to always play this game in my head. It's like... Would you consider redoing the whole day just to redo that meeting? And a lot of the times I would have said yes. Like, I would...
Oh, wow.
Prefer... And I'm, you're your own biggest critique and all that stuff. But today, I was my own biggest fan. You
smashed it.
It was different. So in my previous...
Do you think that you smashed it and everyone hates it now?
Perhaps. Maybe that's the touching of wood. But... I'm used to being in a sales position, and it's like a lot of like the old-fashioned get to the front of the room, talking to a pack and things like that. And this was more, we were seated around a table and had like the screen in front of us. So I had my laptop in front of me, and I can kind of reference my notes, and so I was able to do this thing where I lean back, and I have this move right when I'm in presentations. If I lean back, it like confident Josh comes out, right? I'm in the position, I'm in the blazer. I kind of, position myself in a very confident way.
Yep.
I'm making jokes. People are laughing. The end of the presentation finished with endorsed by the general manager. So that's always good. We're costing them a lot of money, but that's good. So it went really well. Like, I'm not going to toot my own horn. It went really well. And it wasn't just me. There was two others who did a really good job as part of it. So... That has been a massive weight off my shoulders because for the last... God, we had to push it out another 2 weeks. So the last month or so, that's all we've been stressing about. So, yeah, that was great. Things at home are going well. I'm in lawn season, so I aerated my backyard. I fertilized the lawn.
Did you put the sand in?
I haven't done the sand yet. So we're doing the pavers. So we've concreted in about 3 of the 10 or so pavers we need to do. It was a bigger job than we thought. So that is still work in progress. But we need to get that done first.
You're concreting in. I thought you were sanding in.
We decided to concrete. So
Okay.
that it was a whole thing. We were originally going to get tiles, and the tiles are 40 mil, and then we ended up with pavers, which are 20 mil blue stone. But because they're smaller in terms of thickness, we either needed a lot more concrete or a lot more sand. So we've kind of had to concrete them in at a high base. So now I need to go get more sand to raise everything so it's level to the footpath. It's this whole thing.
Domesticated Josh. He's a different beast.
I mean, I'm not doing. I have my wife's dad helping, and I'm like,
You're project managing?
Yeah, you do. I'll lift. You don't have to lift a finger. So I lifted
Yeah.
over 200 kilos worth of like pavers up and down, and
Yeah.
helped. I made all the concrete, poured it all. He was just like doing it because I'm like, I don't know how to. You're a 60-year-old
concrete.
European. You know
Yeah.
how to handle concrete, okay?
Yeah.
You're literally born.
My
to do
dad
that.
is a concreter, literally.
Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know how people do that long term though. Like I was sore the next day. I can't imagine what it's like to live a life where you were laying concrete. It must do a thing to your body.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume it's like going to the gym. You know, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. Then
Yeah.
yeah, your body adapts. But at the same time, I'm like, nah, man, that's backbreaking labor. Like, kudos to those.
We used to
There's
know
still
a guy.
athletes out there.
He's still alive. He's 75. He did the concrete exposed aggregate around our house. Joe the concreter.
Okay,
As if
great.
things couldn't be any more cliche. And this guy like was standing like that. Like that's how he
Okay.
was walking around. Like he couldn't even stand up straight. I'm like, dude, pack
You're
it in.
done.
You're done.
Yeah.
But he was still going. He did a good job. He knew his way around some concrete. So yeah,
Just a plug.
just
To Joe the concreter.
Joe the concreter. Search him up. So yeah, we did the pavers. But yeah, the idea is we get the pavers done, then we bring the stones in, and then that same place we get the stones, we order the sand and soil, and I'll do a 50-50 sand soil mix level. But what I wanted to do in preparation to that is really get the juices flowing in this grass. So I went to Bunnings, I got an aerator, I'm sitting there aerating the lawn, and then I fertilized it, and then I fed the lemon tree. It's all happening.
Wow. This is just like Josh's lawn segment. We're just landscaping with Josh.
Landscaping with Josh. So yeah, that's been me. Not too much games being played. I finished Metal Gear Solid. We'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
Still waiting on the car. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Things are slowly plugging along. Baby's
Yeah.
cooking still. Still cooking.
yeah, well,
Nathan's too.
My life.
Yeah.
Yeah. My life's a little less exciting. I went to a concert
That's exciting.
on Friday night. Yeah, it was a May Day parade. So obviously, like, Josh, one of your favorite bands. But I'll tell you this, man, that lead singer, he's kind of icky. I'll tell you this, and you would not appreciate this. He did not wear shoes while performing. He was barefoot.
Yeah, what are we doing? He sounded
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
off, like when we heard him.
Yeah, he sounded off, but like he sounded great. when
Okay, so it
I
might have
saw
just
him
been it was
last.
tuned to all time low. It just wasn't set up.
Literally, that's what I was trying to explain this.
Yeah.
I was telling, someone was like audio engineers, and they were kind of like tuned to the main stage and not like, or the headlining act and the supporting act. Like, yeah, we'll just make it work. Yeah, as you descend into your chair,
I only made 13 minutes today. I'm that tired.
you're exhausted. And so I did that, and then Saturday night I went to a friend's 30th. It was really cool. It was like a Roaring Twenties theme. So, and it was at a I can't remember the venue, but it was at a speakeasy. So,
Oh,
you familiar with? Do you know what a speakeasy is?
no, I've heard
So-
of that name,
Okay.
but I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it a
Yeah,
burger
so
place?
Speakeasy.
No, okay. So I clearly don't know. Okay.
So that's Easy's. That's Easy Ease. That's a burger place. But Speakeasy is during the times of Prohibition, before our time. I know we're old, but before our time, in the days of Prohibition, when alcohol was banned, they used to have hidden bars behind shop fronts and store fronts and stuff. So it was like there was a hidden entrance to get to the bar. So this place was at a speakeasy. So it was looked like a little like, what would you say, like a tailor walking in.
Okay. Yep.
And there was a nice big full length mirror, and then you open that, and there was a bar behind it, and everyone was dressed in Prohibition era Roaring Twenties fashion. and
That's
that was
cool.
the theme. It was cool.
Is it
It was
always
nice.
that fashion, or was that just for
Yeah.
that event?
Well, it's always that fashion. So
Mm.
then my friend made it the
The
same theme.
theme,
So
yeah.
he made the theme Great Gatsby theme. So everyone was dressed in that kind of era of clothing. I dressed up to some extent. I didn't really wear like that kind of era, but I wore like jacket, tie,
Okay.
shirt,
Yeah, it's
the
still
classic.
respectable. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was good fun.
Mm.
It was a cool vibe. A lot of work people. It was practically a work event. There was that many work people. Bless you.
It's coming. Keep going.
Yeah, yeah, it's coming. um, but yeah, good vibes. And then Sunday, that girl I'm seeing, she just came over. We chilled out. Played a little bit of the Digimon
Ah, you went in.
demo.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good.
didn't get far in. Just
Okay.
kind of like got distracted, but it seemed fun.
Ah, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then we did that. We
Pepper
watched a
breath.
bit of Digimon Try, which is the 15th anniversary season that came out.
So,
For like
this lady
season
friend
3.
of yours, bit of a nerd? Is it safe to
Bit of a
assume? Based
nerd.
on. Okay.
She's a bit of a nerd.
That must be nice.
She actually watched our last episode.
Ah. Well, if you're listening, I'm Josh.
Yeah. Yeah, she subscribed. She said you were very charismatic.
Oh, thank you. I think you're nice as well. We'll meet
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
And then you'll regret
We'll meet.
everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my weekend. Went to basketball gym today. A new one opened up, so I just had a bit of shoot around.
Yeah.
My knees are sore. Just typical things.
Typical
That's
old
it.
age things.
That's life. But
Yeah.
I've been playing. In terms of what I've been playing, Hollow Knight, Silk Song.
Ah, yes. Yeah, we'll
I'm in.
should we jump into that maybe?
Yeah, we can jump into what have we been playing. Silk Song.
Yes. Silk Song.
Man,
Go.
what a game. I've been Silk Song. I've just been playing this game nonstop since it came out. I've put about maybe 15, 20 hours into the game right now.
Yep.
So it is phenomenal. Like a really, really good Metroidvania game. Like even like the little Easter eggs that pay homage to it. Like the way she moves is like the way
Is it
is it
Alucard?
Alucard?
Yeah.
Alucard moves in Symphony of the Night, like
Yeah.
with the cape. It's just, and the game's hard, man. The game is punishing.
Yeah, I've heard
I'll tell you how
they
many times
patched it
I lost.
already.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's already a controversial thing. I'm happy I already beat those bosses,
Yeah.
so I can play it in like the optimum level. But those patches, I was like, it doesn't need it. I was like, just get good.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah. That being said, I couldn't play Life of P because I suck.
Yeah.
So,
Were you a fan of the first Hollow Knight?
yeah, I was. I really liked it. I do like the fact that something about Metroidvania games where they literally do not tell you what to do. It's just so it's so free.
Yeah.
They give you, it's like literally like make it out for yourself kind of thing.
It's a different
Don't really-
approach.
Yeah, but it's not really. Is it really a different approach, or is it a very old school approach? Because like there's no waypoints. There's
Yeah.
no like go here.
Yeah.
Everything else is blocked off. Like go here.
Yeah, I think there was like that split, right? Like you think Metroidvania is obviously Metroid and Castlevania, and Metroid games up to Fusion were very like you get lost and that's part of it, and then Fusion
Yep.
onwards kind of did like the Samus go here, and then go here, and then go here. So I don't know. I get torn. I kind of like I
hybrid?
tried Hollow Knight before. I liked it, but I never probably gave it enough time. Is probably the issue. And I ideally would like to play Hollow Knight before I play Silk Song, but I might just jump into Silk Song because
You can just jump into Silk Song.
yeah, I gotta put my OCD aside and be like, I can't. So yeah, I'm interested in the game. Like the game's obviously received wild reviews and it crashed Steam at some point. Like when it launched,
It did.
everything was, and it's a little team out of South Australia, which is crazy to think about. This team out of
3 people.
I didn't even know that. So 3 people. Wow.
3 people.
Yeah, incredible. So I do want to give it a shot because of all I've heard is the praise. But see with me, I do like Metroidvanias, right? Some of my favorites I think are a little bit more
Linear?
not even linear, or they give you like a very clear like pathway you're supposed to go, and then it's very clear like you can't go here, you need the double jump, you can't go through here. So like, recent ones I'd call out were I like the Prince of Persia game.
Yeah, so did I.
Felt it was a little too long. That was my only critique.
I think so too.
I like if I play a Metroidvania, I want it done in like 12 hours, 12 to 14 to 15 hours max. I don't want a 20 to 25 hour Metroidvania. It's just not the So like Samus, Metroid Dread is I loved Metroid Dread.
I loved it too.
That's what got me got me into Metroid. So Metroid Dread, I'm just trying to think of what I played recently. Yeah, it's probably the most recent one I would want to call out. But yeah, I think Silksong's great. It kind of, from my understanding, combines Metroidvania with, I hate using the like
Dark
Souls thing, but it incorporates that type of design where it's, which is kind of weird to say because Metroidvania games have always done that, where it's like you have to figure out the boss patterns. Most 2D games do that, right? Like I was talking about Ninja Gaiden a few weeks back. Like that's the same thing. You just keep trying until you figure out the boss's patterns. But for you, what is
like one of my games?
Yeah, for you, what has made Silksong stand out against some of those other ones?
I think it's just so. How would I put it? It's got so much character. Like even just like the art style, the aura it has in terms of like it's, how do I put it? It's just got amazing character. The lore is pretty good. The storytelling being so ominous and you just kind of got to read about it. It's almost how people really appreciate Dark Souls and Elden Ring for that.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't give you the full thing, but it tells you, it drip feeds you little bits and pieces. You kind of have, if you're really paying attention, you can piece it together for yourself. But it's honestly, the maps are beautiful. The bosses are very interesting. A lot of them are very different. It's
character
punishing,
designs are cool too. Like
character design's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of personality in it. Yeah, the game's got charm. Charm is the word. Thank you, me. Charm. It's got a lot of charm. Where I felt like, Prince of Persia was good and it was fun, but I felt like it didn't really have that much charm.
Yeah. It had the whole, like, anime-inspired, like, combat mechanics where it's like some of the moves that you were doing is like, oh, this is straight out of Dragon Ball Z. And that was cool, and it did, like, those dynamic camera angles in boss fights. But it was very... I think that goes to the charm of a Metroidvania being done in either pixel art or a 2D art style. I think that goes a very long way. As soon as it enters 3D or 2.5D, whatever you want to call it, you lose that. Like I even felt that with Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is the Castlevania and that was the same thing where I'm like, man, this would have felt better in 2D. Metroid Dread
didn't have charm, but it was a great game.
I would say it had great atmosphere. So the atmosphere replaced the charm. You know what I mean? That was kind of the whole thing was the atmosphere. But yeah, Silksong, the art style, it's like a combination of very like simplistic designs, but very vibrant in color.
Yeah. And I kind of feel that way with like Celeste. Celeste was a great platformer in the sense of, and it had some story involved, like, talk about like overcoming great heights in terms of like both emotionally and physically, like you're literally towering a mountain. But the charm was the pixel art. The gameplay was very simple, but really well done. It was polished. And that's what this game is. Yeah. Very, very good.
Yeah. I think for me, the two that stand out recent is like I said, Metroid Dread and Ori. I thought Ori was brilliant.
Yeah. I have a friend who's a massive Ori hater for some reason, and he's just being like, this game's fucking trash. Hater. I'm like, man, Ori had so much charm.
Ori was
I don't know what the problem is.
Ori was really good. Yeah.
It was really good. But yeah, you said you finished Metal Gear.
Yeah. So funny you bring that up. So I finished... sorry, that's my RoboVac in the other room. It was like just banging into a wall. Finished Snake Eater or Metal Gear Delta remake, which is I've spoken about before. Metal Gear 3 is my favorite game of all time, so it was an absolute pleasure to go back. And we spoke about last time. I think you were talking about getting into Metal Gear and where to start. Start with Delta, because I think I would hope that these remake games continue. And I got to sneeze. Pregnant pause. That I think these remakes will continue, and I think you can. Let me back up. As a fan of something, your first instinct is to go, no, man, you got to play them watch them in the order that they were released. Yeah. And now that I've replayed Snake Eater, although some of the revelations in the later games are spoiled because of Snake Eater playing the prequel first, which is the third in the mainline series, it also does a lot to set up some of the confusing parts of the future games. So, although you're know who Big Boss is first because you're playing Delta, by the time you get to Metal Gear 1, 2, and 4, it actually gives you more context around the overarching story. So as much as it might spoil some things, it's also going to make a lot more sense. So you kind of forego...
I read that.
Yeah, you forego that for for it all making sense. And I think my hope with this whole remake project is that since they've started with Delta with Snake Eater, that they would naturally move on to Peace Walker. But it starts getting more and more difficult to remake these games the later you go on. Like Peace Walker was a PSP game, right? So it was a game built for the handheld. So it's very similar to Metal Gear Solid 5, where it was mission based. But some of these missions, you can complete some of these missions in 2 minutes because it was designed around taking the game on the go and maybe completing a mission whilst on the train.
You know, they did it with Crisis Core, and that worked out.
Exactly. So I think Peace Walker would be my next bet. Yeah. I would like them to probably take a little bit more time and care with Peace Walker than was needed in 3. For instance, all the cutscenes in Peace Walker are done in a really beautiful 2D kind of art style, like a comic book style art. I would love to see... I like that. I do like that, but Metal Gear deserves and really needs, I think, the full-on AAA treatment because it's...
Okay.
It's just built around that concept. So I would love them to maybe take Peace Walker and strip it down to its parts and maybe incorporate some of the side missions that make sense to kind of put a package forward, which is the best way to play Peace Walker. And at its core, it's still Peace Walker, but I'm not expecting them to record new lines or change the story in any way. I just think that there's some work. It would go a long way if they can just streamline some of the portable aspects, but also bring it up to modern tech.
Yeah, trim a lot of fat. Yeah. He's got to sneeze again.
Yeah. It just keeps coming and going. The more I talk, so it's.
Oh yes, this is great for you to do a podcast on the time where you actually need to talk because you will sneeze.
Yeah, so in sicknesses and in health. But I'm hoping to do so. Friend of the show, Ryan Betson of. Gosh, now I'm even blanking of his podcast, and was for the players. Man, I'm blaming the medication. Reached out, and hopefully we can set some sort of spoiler cast up over the coming weeks. So I'd love to do a really deep dive into the game, and at a high level, I really think that Delta stands up today. You could play this if Delta launched as a new game this year and launched at $50, it would have been seen as the Clair Obscur of this year in terms of lower budget game, doesn't feel as modern because of it's still the skeleton of a PS2 game, but would have been beloved in that very similar way. So for you, I strongly recommend starting with Snake Eater, and then from there it's a bit interesting because, like I said, Peace Walker would make the most sense, and if that is next, you're kind of set because it will be Peace Walker into Metal Gear Solid 5, which is still very modern. Doesn't have a native PS5 port, but you can play it on PS4 and it runs more than fine. And then it gets tricky because Metal Gear Solid 1 probably needs the most work, right? It's a game from 1998. So it would probably require a more Resident Evil 2 type of remake. So from the ground up. But
Which
yeah.
I don't hate. I think
No.
that's fine.
No, I think it just needs it because it's not even about the camera angle breaking the game. It's just the game will feel incredibly small because it was designed for a PS1. It's just too far removed from modern tech, I think, for the game to hold up. So,
But at the same time, you could do like the Toys for Bob thing where they remade, Spyro.
yeah. I mean, you could.
It's a small game, but they packaged it as part of something bigger.
Yeah, it's just difficult because I think
Like,
there's such a...
would you do a 1 and 2 double pack?
No. I think 2, you do the exact same style of remake you did for Delta because it would work. 1 just requires the most work. So what I would nearly do is have Virtuous Studios, so the team that did Delta, work on Peace Walker and, then move to Metal Gear Solid 2, and then have another team dedicated to this remake project of Metal Gear Solid 1. And maybe Konami want to do that themselves in-house, just to take ownership of it. Because 4, and like I said, 4 and 5 are extremely playable today, except for the fact that 4 is stuck on the PS3. But if you can port that over, get it running at 60 frames in 4K, I think you're fine. So yeah, I'm totally down. Like, I'm so excited to see Metal Gear come back and can't wait to see what's next because it's just like to have 2 Kojima games in 1 year and play them back to back is like incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's been a good year for games, I'd say. But
yeah. And that goes kind of great segue, Vinny. I don't know if that was on purpose.
But is it the golden era of video games?
Yeah, we had this interesting concept because you often see online people always complaining, and there's a lot to complain about in modern video games, and but there's also a lot to celebrate. So I thought it would be an interesting conversation to talk about what we deem the golden era and whether we're living in the golden era, whether that's to come or something of the past. So because I'm close to dying, I'm going to hand over to you to take this in any way you want while I scramble for a tissue.
Yep, sure, go for it. Okay, I can tell you right now, short story long, we are not in the golden era of video games right now. We've had a good year for video games, but we're not in the golden era. I feel like this generation of video games is, packed with a lot of unfinished games. They get patched after release, games not being on the cartridge or disc, a whole lot of DLC, and a whole lot of microtransactions. So I think the best way, and like as I was doing my research, I kind of stumbled across this quote. I can't remember who's it by, but it made a really good point where it's like a game back in the day was made to be great because it was the only way a developer could make money. Now it's about the money of the games. Now it's not about the money of the game being sold, but how much money the game makes. Yeah. So
that sounds similar to a Sean Layden quote where he was talking about Game Pass, funny enough, when he's kind of talking about games were kind of designed as their own business, and the idea was to design and build a game for the hopes that it would see appeal in market and sell and become popular, as opposed to creating a game for the purpose of putting it in a subscription. So, whilst not the same thing, similar, right? It is that
very
sense.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem. Like games being designed with the idea of monetization as the driver, as opposed to... Yeah.
And I mean, we kind of spoke about this not in our last podcast, but the podcast before, when we were talking about the whole Sony's profitability comes from their microtransactions from 10 games.
Yeah, 50% of their profits is driven by, or their revenue, is driven by 10 live service games.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I think, not a good for the business, not good for the gamer, in a sense.
Yeah, it's one of those tough things because it's like, I've been thinking about this recently, and I've got a younger brother. He's 16, 17 years old, and just seeing the difference in the way that he plays games versus the way we would play, and it begs the question, like, who are these decisions being made for? And at what point are we not the driving force behind these decisions, which we're clearly not. A lot of the decisions are being made towards games as a service isn't a play to appeal to the hardcore gamer, right? It's appeal to the casuals who are playing those 10 games and Sony want to own one of them, right?
Yeah.
So it's that push and pull of art and I don't know, a product that needs to be sold and money needing to be made.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, to me, the golden era of video games, if I had to pick like an era, like I couldn't pick a generation, but I reckon from like 2000 to about 2012.
Okay.
So it spans across the PS2 to the early 360, PS3, Wii generation.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like 10 to 12 year gap. And it's because it was like, so gaming was really like, it was still a niche back then. So it wasn't seen in the sense of profitability from corporate greed. It was not in the spotlight. It wasn't advertised as much. The game was sold and kind of advertised and only really sold because it was good. You know what I mean? It wasn't sold to make money later. It needed to be good. It needed to be polished. It needed to be ready to go and out the door at the time of release. And if it did get released, it was, if it got delayed, you were genuinely like kind of like a little bit hurt, but there was another game out there that was kind of just as good.
Yeah.
There was a lot of innovation back then as well. Like a lot of mechanics that were created back then are still being used today.
Yeah.
So, and another thing that I see is from the year 2000 to the year like 2012, like the graphical leap of games was like mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
We had something that you could see the pixels to, you had The Last of Us in 2013. Like you look at a PS2 game from the year 2000 versus The Last of Us and you're like, how is that a thing?
And not even that, even within the same generation, take Naughty Dog, take Uncharted 1 and Last of Us, right? Made by the same team on the same console. Yeah. And the difference in, is unreal.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things about that. And like, I think the biggest, I think the three best games of this year are actually going to be indie games.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we got Clair Obscur, Silksong, and I think Hades 2, which is Supergiant.
And there was Blueprints as well. That was the other one that was very highly reviewed this year. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of them are indie developers where it's and that's where I think like the whole like corporate greed comes in, where it's games are getting priced out again, and developers or AAA studios aren't happy with the amount of money they're making versus the amount of time and effort going in. So they have pivoted or wanting to pivot to put out paid content instead of making a great game.
Yeah.
And when that comes from the sense of, you think of what's it called, skins or cosmetics. They used to be unlocked. Some of them are still unlocked through achievements, through quests, through in-game relation, or like how you do it. Now it's a lot of go to the store, buy, and kind of wear it. And it goes to the point where you used to think of like playing Halo Reach and getting like a helmet or in Halo 3 and getting like a helmet or a certain outfit and being like, wow, like that guy like fucking worked hard for it. Instead of, if I see a skin playing a game, I'm like, how much money did they spend on this? And the correlation there is very different. But yeah, it's just like, I want to hear your thoughts on it in a little bit. But yeah, it's just more like, there's such a difference between when it went good, when it was like really good, and then like, bam, as soon as like that whole like microtransaction era hit, I feel like that's when it really started to dip. But what do you think? What's your era?
It's an interesting thing because I think that there's different ways to look at it, and depending on which way I look, it makes me point to a different era. Because I think
what do you think your golden era is?
Yeah, I think if I was to look at it as with my nostalgia goggles on, I would probably say the PS3 generation was like the golden era, and that was like the conversion from SD to HD, the refinement of mechanics, and really those same style or those mechanical changes that we saw from PS2 to PS3 are still being used today. You think about pre Call of Duty on PS3, that most modern shooters would use L1, R1 or the equivalent, or would use, like it wasn't until that generation they're like, hold on, we could put triggers on the controllers, and that is the way that we're like. You think about going back and playing Resistance today, and that's the first thing you notice. They're like, well, hold on, like you want me to press what to shoot? And even Metal Gear is a perfect example of Metal Gear Solid 3 had two launches, right? It had its initial launch, which had the top-down camera, and then Substance launched a few years later, or Subsistence, and that gave you the ability to move the camera, and that fundamentally changed the game. But you look at that approach to third-person action, and it was still third-person camera, but when you went to shoot, it would go into first-person, right? Which Delta still has today, but it also adds the standard over-the-shoulder shooting. So it's just crazy to think about like that. Those shifts in gameplay refinement happened during that PS3 360 generation. That generation also saw the best time of E3, right? You think about the E3 of old was PowerPoint presentations for shareholders and people behind the scenes. It wasn't the pomp and circumstance that came with later E3s, right? With the, with the Ubisoft ones, with the dancers, and it wasn't what it became, right? It became a media show. It became an opportunity to get gamers into the room and hype and things like that. So from that angle, again, that generation's super exciting, right? Because it was the refinement of the things we love, the games, the way that the games were shown. We also saw real competition between the two major console players at the time, right? Was PS3 and 360. And Nintendo were also going through a bit of an awkward kind of transition out of Wii into Wii U and what that meant for the brand. If we were doing this podcast in 2010, 11, and 12, we might have been saying things like, is Nintendo going to go third party, right? Because at that time, it really seemed crazy to think that Nintendo were going to soar back with the Wii. These tablets are starting to kick in. So you're starting to see a rise in the quality. But yeah, so now when I think about the golden era and I take all those goggles off, I actually tend to think that we're living in it.
Wow, this is a hot take.
Because as for all the issues that the modern industry faces, inflated budgets, the fact that there's just too many games being made and released and not enough people to buy and play them, people's attention being taken away from games by TikTok and other things, these live service games soaking up a lot of people's time and money. What we're seeing, and what we didn't see during that PS3 generation was, or what we saw in that generation was the death of like AA. And then we started to see indie slowly creep in, right?
Yeah.
PS2 generation was all over the place. You had like really great games on one end of the scale, and then like really bad movie tie-ins at the end of the scale, or these like random games being made that just, you're like, what are you doing printing this on a disc and going through so much effort to like have these manuals and things like that. So when you go into PS3 into PS4, we saw the death of AA, and AAA was the primary seller. At the time was great, right? Because the games that were being made were the games designed for the hardcore. And that's where you think back of like PS3 generation, Uncharted 1, 2, 3, Bioshock, like Resistance, like Last of Us. It was easy to start rattling things off.
Dead Space, RE, all that stuff.
Yeah, it was all there. And I still think that was a fantastic time to be a gamer. What I love about modern gaming is talk about that refinement, and you talk about a game like Shovel Knight that launched back in 2013, 2014, and what a revelation that was to have indie games be considered Game of the Year. And look how far we've come from that point. To get a Ninja Gaiden game, a 2D Ninja Gaiden game, to get a Shinobi game, to get these indie games come out and be considered game of the year, banger after banger after banger. This year alone, right? Ninja Gaiden, Shinobi, Blueprints, Mina the Hollower, which is from Yacht Club, right? Their next game coming out. That's just off the top of my head, right?
Yeah.
So, although I agree the AAA modern landscape has, I think, had a period of being super stale, where I'm excited and what's driven me to think we are living in it is because what is being replaced by those Assassin's Creeds, those Far Cries, is fantastic indie games. And not only that, countries like China and Korea launching games, some of which being their first AAA or first video game, by video game I mean console game, and launching some of the biggest games of all time. Black Myth Wukong came out of nowhere. A game like Stellar Blade. Lost Solar Sides, not so much. First Berserker Kazan that launched this year, right? A game out of Korea. That is what's exciting me. Because when I look ahead at what I want to play, the PS3 generation, it was all, what's Insomniac's next game? What's Naughty Dog's next game? And that was like what was driving me through the generation. And then everything else was kind of just supplementary. I've kind of flipped that on its head. And although I love Death Stranding, and although I can't wait for Ghost of Yotai, it's everything around that I'm loving. And the indie games and AA making a comeback. Again, Clair Obscur, right? And that's not just the only example. That's the one everyone talks about. But even a game like Hell Is Us, right? Something I haven't picked up and played yet, but is doing something different. It's a third-person, narrative-driven action game where there are no quest markers. The game doesn't tell you where to go. It's puzzle-based, and it even recommends taking out a notebook. I played the demo. It even comes up with a warning kind of thing at the start of the game saying, like, this game is designed for you to make your way through it and to discover things naturally. So
that's cool. Actually, I gotta make a note of that. Was that called Hell Is Us?
Hell Is Us. Yeah, it just launched. There's a free demo on PSN. So when I think about that is what gets me super excited. Because I just think that you have to look. Where before it just seemed like everything was what was there. You can kind of we often talk about, right, when we were working in retail. I could name every game that was releasing because there was only X amount of games being released and they were all being released physically. Now there is thousands of games releasing constantly. Some aren't even on disc. Some aren't even on console. A lot of it is on mobile or PC only. And you can't realistically play every game.
No, you can't.
So although we're seeing these publishers double down on things that make money and these safe bets, there is innovation. You just got to know where to look.
Okay, yeah. I agree with that, but I also feel like my takeaway is I think the AAAs now are chasing what they did back then. You know what I mean? Like that's it's like not so much the Insomniacs, but the Activisions, EAs. They're chasing what they were able to do in the PS2 and PS3 era of games. Like you look at, and I think of a game that a AAA studio or like a big developer used when, like, how would I put it? Trying to go back to an older remake or a sequel from this day and age would be like Star Wars Battlefront versus Star Wars Battlefront 2. Battlefront was a iconic game, very well received back in the day. Had a lot of character, a lot of charm. Star Wars wasn't oversaturated back then, and then they made EA's like Battlefront 2. Here we go, pay to win mechanics and cosmetics. That's what people want, and it just ended up being the absolute shitstorm of a game. And you know what I like in this era, where we have a voice. Like the common man, the gamer, has a voice that is actually heard. And we got that with early days. I think of like the Xbox One with the whole DRM issue. Like, community blew up. They redacted that. They reversed it with little things like Sonic looking like absolute.
Look like me with the
Yeah.
hayfever, like.
Yeah, he looked like Gollum. Yeah, he
Yeah.
actually he did. He looked like a combination of Sonic and Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
That was so bad. Have you seen the theories
Yeah,
that was done on purpose to
yeah,
like?
viral marketing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nearly that bad. You could believe it, right?
yeah, 100%. And then I do like the fact that gamers have a voice and having your opinion is sometimes a good thing. Not everyone should say everything on the internet.
Clearly, yeah.
Sometimes it's best to leave your opinions to yourself, especially when they are impacting other people and hurting other people. Yeah, keep it to yourself. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. They used to say back in the day, write a letter and don't send it. Do that. Send a tweet to yourself. But yeah, I think but when you said E3, I think that really had a good point about talking about the community aspect of like midnight launches, LAN parties, like
Kevin
being so
Butler.
connected and yeah, being so connected in that sense, which was like such a golden era. Whereas now it's not so much. People will rather go into a private chat with their friends that they're already established. No one will join a like MMO clans and guilds. I feel like such a niche now.
Sense of community is
Is
either lost or being spread out so thin that you kind of have to go to these micro communities to get that sense. There isn't the... Yeah, I agree. And again, that kind of goes to the whole, depending on the way you want to define the golden era, that would drive that outcome. For me, I kind of think about in 20 years' time or in 10 years' time, I think that the games we're playing today are going to be very much playable, not in the physical sense of being able to play them, but very much playable in terms of, okay, maybe they're not running at 120 frames per second at 8K or whatever we're doing in 10 years, but you can pick up and play these games. And I feel like we're living in that era of, for the first time, that this is gaming. These are games. And in the future, the games that will be played will be reminiscent of very much more than the games we're playing today are of the PS3 generation.
Yeah, and I agree with that because you give a someone who's, I played Pokemon at like 8, 9, 10 years old, and that game it's actually quite hard when it's not very it's not very linear in the sense of you don't really know where you're going. You have to walk around and actually figure it out for yourself in that sense. But you give that to a kid now, they're gonna be like, "What is this game? I don't know how to play this." And thinking about Super Mario World being a really hard game as well. Like there are certain aspects of those games where they've been modernized and for the accessibility aspect, which is really good. But yeah, I guess in the sense of
Can I just add to that?
What we kind of talk. Yeah, go.
Because you brought up a good point, like how games... And I think there's something to push back on in the sense of how modern games are being built with monetization in mind. And they're not just thinking about how do we deliver the best product. It's about how can we deliver a good product or a great product, hopefully, but then also extract more money out of these people over time. An argument could be made that the same thing was there in the NES generation, except it was porting arcade games, which were designed to be difficult for the purpose of you putting in more money. And and so there's like this misconstruing of like, we forget that was the intention of those games at the time.
Yeah, games are designed to be hard.
But we love the fact that they're hard, not for that reason. We just love that it was a challenge. It was a challenge. So I think that gets lost on a lot of people too. And
yeah, that's a good point. The whole arcade games being designed to take your money.
Yeah, like the original Ninja Gaiden was like extremely difficult for a lot of those reasons. And then of course when like NES really kicked into gear and it became its own kind of thing, that's where we started getting console games and like that's where Mega Man and things like that really happened, right? So it's difficult because unlike movies and other forms of media, we still heavily rely on IP created 30, 40 years ago. And I guess the same thing could be said for movies, right? We're getting Superman, we're getting Star Wars. We're seeing Onimusha come back. We're seeing, we're
seeing Okami. We're seeing Metro Prime 4. We're seeing...
Yeah, so that's what's difficult to pass out. Because it's like, because we were there during that time, does that define Is that interfering with our definition of what we deem as golden era? Where I see it as like, if I could come in fresh, never playing a video game in my life, when's the best time to do that?
You'd love it now.
Yeah. You got access to, on modern hardware, right? If you even just look at PlayStation and Switch 2, access to some of the best PS2 games of all time. PS4's backwards natively. PS3 is... But in saying that, can you think of 5 PS3 games that are locked to the console? What are we missing? We're missing Resistance, we're missing Killzone, Metal Gear Solid 3... like Uncharted's ported over, Kingdom Hearts has been ported over, God of War has been ported over. There's really a handful of PS3 games left.
Yeah.
Resistance, Infamous, Killzone, Metal Gear, and I'm probably missing a few more, like off the top of my head. Bioshock's off there. Like GTA's off there. So it's kind of retroactively being solved over time. So maybe that's partly why Sony hasn't really... I still think they need to do it as like a closing the loop type thing, but it's like there really isn't much left on it. So if you're coming in fresh and you've got access to PlayStation Plus and you've got access to Game Pass and you have access to the games of old, you've got access to modern games inspired by the games of old, I would very quickly go, now's the best time. Although the money's being made in Fortnite,
Yeah. It's a sense of, I'm worried there is so we've clearly, which is good. I like this. I like that we have two different opinions on things, and I like that we kind of took these as two different styles of what we thought era. Because like I thought of it more holistically, you thought of like from a game sense. We both spoke about the community, which I think is a big aspect, and the ability to have time and what was actually advertised. And even from like a retail standpoint, I feel like gaming was bigger back then in an era.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like the fact that there is so much saturation in video games means that people used to say, 300 channels and there's nothing on. Do you feel like that might be a thing now where people like there's so much choice that I'm having choice paralysis for what to play?
Yeah. There's too many games being made. That is literally hard. You think about like people talk about Game Pass, what the problems Game Pass cause. All right, and I've had plenty of those conversations myself. But if you really had to think about it, it's kind of like free to play. The amount of games being made.
Mm-hmm.
You remove those two barriers and be like, everything like we're talking games that shouldn't be made are being made. Like not even people trying. These are just trash that are flooding everything.
Yeah, it's the shovelware.
Get rid of all that.
Shovelware. Yeah.
And I think what's tough is I think the industry needs to go through a bit of a shrinking phase. Unfortunately, where that shrinking phase will happen will be in AAA, in the big studios that we love, right? Because they're the ones trying to compete in a game that's played by the younger generation who just don't care. So, like, you think of a BioWare or even Rocksteady, right? Like a team that we love because of the old Batman Arkham games. But maybe after one more Suicide Squad, they're done, right? And maybe after another Anthem, BioWare's done. And I think that's where we're going to see the losses because there's only, the pool of people that buy games are here. The pool of people that buy those styles of games, which is us, is here. And there's only so much we can play.
That does leave the opportunity to get another Sandfall, you know what I mean? To get people who are actually passionate about games going like, fuck. It's like, I was not able to make the game I wanted to make at
Ubisoft.
At Activision. I got pushed in Ubisoft. I got pushed to a live service game, so I need to go decide to make my own. And we are getting those. We're getting a lot of ex AAA developers, like people who worked in AAA games, going into their own stuff and making these indie games. I think.
Look at Igarashi at Bloodstain, right? In Castlevania. That's literally that. Yeah. Inafune, Mighty Number 9. But we're seeing that happen. But I would say for every Expedition 33, there's probably 10 other studios that were launched by very talented people that have fallen apart. Like, look at Sony. Look at Haven Studios. Look at Firewalk, Deviation. Like, We got the heads of people from Call of Duty. We've got people from Ubisoft. And all of a sudden, they don't do much, right?
Yeah, you got nothing.
Yeah. Colin Moriarty talks about on his podcast that he has this view that game studios should be more like movie production, where it's like a team will come together, produce something, and then they disperse. And they come together for certain projects, right? And maybe they come back for a sequel or yeah. And it's the idea of like the name not really meaning much, because BioWare, because of its name, doesn't mean you can't have the same expectation of a BioWare today than you did 10 years ago.
Yeah, you can't have a Bungie. Like Bungie now has no cachet.
Yeah.
It's got no cachet right now.
Yeah,
and Bungie 2010 had a lot of
cachet, baby. I have cachet up the wazoo. And like some studios do a good job at that. I think Naughty Dog do, in terms of like maintaining a consistent type of studio makeup, and the people making the games, the people that are making Intergalactic, some of them may have worked on Uncharted, but a lot of them might not have and been completely new. But they seem to kind of mold their people to kind of make a very certain style of game. Nintendo have spoken about this when the whole Activision acquisition came through, and people asking Nintendo, like, are you planning on purchasing any studios? They kind of spoke about the culture, and that you can't buy Nintendo culture. It's something that's in bed in the studios and the people making games. So
yeah, but make a good Pokemon game, Nintendo. That's all I'm asking.
Man, I hope Digimon eat their lunch, because it's about time.
Oh god, that game looks so good, man. It's already. I played like 25 minutes to like half an hour in demo. Already voice acting, in-game cutscene that actually look good, and Bandai Namco actually know how to make a game.
Yeah.
So straight up. Anyway, but I'll say this, and one thing that you said about being in the golden era of video games now, I actually spoke about this with some of my friends on Thursday, where I saw the Conjuring, the last Conjuring movie, The Last Rites. TLDR, shit movie, don't watch it. It's like, it's got classic Conjuring with superhero tropes. It's dumb. But I was speaking to one of my friends, and I said, I think I have to remake a top 10 to include like a modern top 10. Because there are so many modern games now that I feel like are up there in top 10 for me. Like Hades 2 is one of them. Clair Obscur is one of them. Silksong's looking pretty good, damn good. But I can't push out my old top 10 of, Digimon World, Kingdom Hearts. They're games that had such charm. Spyro 2, Donkey Country 2. Like those games have such heart for me.
It's funny you say that. Yeah. That was going to be my next question, because that was going to be my my proving point, because it's kind of like, all right, what's your top 5? And it's like all of a sudden 3 of the 5 are games released fairly recently, which kind of goes to the thing of exactly. So that's what's difficult, right? And it's all based on you being there. And that's another important fact about being an older person playing games. And by older, we're 30. I'm not going to act like we were there during the Atari. But it's like, you appreciate Metal Gear Solid, the first one, because you were there to play it when it was modern. And you could understand why it's special. Playing it today is, if I gave that to my brother, I don't even know if he would make it through the first opening. Like, to where Snake gets into the elevator and it goes down. I don't even think he'd get
what
to
is
that.
This?
Like, what is happening? I can't see anything. What is this? Right, it's running at 20 frames per second. Like, what's going on? So we had this inherent understanding of what's great at the time because we are there. So it's difficult to pass that out. That's why I think like, to your point, it was interesting how we took a completely different view. Because my view was like, if I'm walking in blind and I showed someone Last of Us and then gave them Death Stranding, and then I jumped them to Hades, and then I jumped them to Shovel Knight, and it's like, whoa, like these are all completely different styles of games, and they're all incredible, Yeah. And we forget about the trash of the PS2 generation. Like, as someone who has...
no, there was some trash of the PS2 generation.
I've got a decent library of games. We spoke about, obviously, the repurchasing of physical games after we all traded in, and I've made a rule where it's like, I don't want 1,000 PS2 games if I own every SingStar, every Buzz, every FIFA game, and I just have a wall of PS2 games for the sake of it. I just want the good stuff.
Yeah.
And for every great game, there was there was plenty that were not.
Yeah. I mean, we think of the PS2 had what, 1,000 games when you factor in regions,
All up.
like all up about like when you
10?
factor in regions, like close to 10,
Yeah,
10,000
10,000
games.
10,000. Let's see how good we
Yeah.
are. How many games for PS2? I think it is about
Yeah.
10,000.
I think when you factor in regions and
10,900.
translations, yeah,
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a generation of 7 years. That's a lot of games per year.
Yep.
Yep.
And for reference, how many games released in 2024? Let's see what comes up. Nearly 18,000 games. So there was nearly double the amount of games released last year across all platforms than there were on the PS2 across its generation.
Yeah, which is insane.
This is there's just too much. There's too much distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's trying to fight for your attention and you just can't do it.
This is the maturing age of video games. And you need to go through a shrinking for it to plateau. You need to get to a norm where it's like, this is the sustained level of games that we can make, and this is the sustained budget that we need to stick to. And at the moment, it's all booming in different directions, and no one knows where to put their money and time into.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I have a theory where and you see it from like smaller developers where it works, and then like AA and indie developers making a resurgence where it's like, there is too many cooks in the kitchen for video games. There are so many tools that you can make a video game now, and like Unreal Engine being one of them, like just for an example, like the ability to make a game is very streamlined. The actual mechanics of a game, you can make it. I mean, if you want to go custom like they did back then, obviously a lot harder. But
more the publishing that's hard now, isn't it?
Yeah.
The tools are easier than ever, but it's like finding someone to pay to publish it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the hardest one. And that's why indies are thriving.
That's why indies are thriving, and games made out of these regions who haven't typically had a very strong AAA presence, like China and Korea, are booming.
Yeah. Like, I enjoy going to PAX every year because I enjoy seeing... I like going to the indie booth.
We should go one time. I've only been to PAX once.
I'm going on the Friday if you want to go.
Is it still...
I got the day off. October 13th.
Okay. Is there tickets still available?
Still available for the Friday. I like to go on the Friday because it's less people. It's a little bit more quiet.
Are you going solo currently?
I'll be going solo. I'll be meeting up with a couple of people there, but I'm pretty much going solo.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to go. I haven't been since 20... Were you? I think you were there. Is that where I took the photos with... we met Jason David Frank and we got the signatures done. Was that PAX?
No, that was Comic-Con
Was that
or
Comic-Con?
Supernova?
It's been like 10 years.
Yeah.
Plus.
But this one's like actually got more... It's like indie spaces. So
yeah, that'll be interesting to games. Try.
Yeah, just the whole like booth area just for indie stuff, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think the last time I was there was like 2012, 13. I remember because Castlevania not Symphony of the Night, Lords of Shadow 2 was playable, and I thought that was super exciting. And then the demo was really great, and then the game was not very great, which is very sad because I loved the first Lords of Shadow. Speaking of Lords of Shadow, let's change pace a little bit here. Our friends in the Mushroom Kingdom held a Nintendo Direct. Thought we would just have a chat. Anything excite you? Anything that made you go, "What? You're selling a virtual boy in 2025?"
And you're selling a cardboard box virtual boy for $25 USD.
Yeah, I couldn't believe. I mean, yeah. Only the amount of tweets Nintendo. You can write where it's like only Nintendo can get out of this to re-release the Virtual Boy in both cardboard and physical form, and lock that behind Nintendo Switch Online is just a move unlike anything the others could ever do.
Nintendo could do, and you don't need it. It's literally just like you sit it in place. Like you don't need it to play.
Put the screen in your face.
You're just going to put the screen in your face. It's so weird. I'm not paying $100 for peripheral, but I know people who will.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on the direct more wholly with everything that was announced?
Good. Solid. I think the seeing Galaxy 2 coming to the Switch being available and getting off the Wii is pretty exciting. I think the Super Mario Galaxy movie, cool, interesting. The Hades 2 getting an actual release date.
September 25th.
Hell yeah, that cutscene was
Oh, it was a great trailer.
Like, yeah. To be honest, like the best part of that direct for me was Hades 2 getting a release date. Samus has a bike.
That looked cool. No, everyone didn't like that. I was like, what are we angry at? Exactly.
Yeah. Like Samus has a Tron cycle. It's fine.
Yeah. What's the problem?
Oh, and also Kirby Air Riders getting another direct.
Apparently it's not very good from what all the previews I've watched about this game. It's like, what does Sakurai have over Nintendo that he can just be like, yeah, I want another direct for this thing.
You know why? Because he'll be like, I'll give you this. You give me this, and I'll give you another Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Because that's who he is.
Yeah.
He has that much pull. But like, why do you need a direct? And look, Pokemon looks painfully average.
Yeah, I'm cancelling my pre-order. Time Strangers 2 weeks before. That is where I'll be spending my time.
Yep.
Speak with your wallet, people.
Oh, and also the new Dragon Age, the Dragon Age reimagined.
Yeah, reimagined.
I thought it was very good.
Just when you thought Square Enix couldn't confuse people with their naming conventions anymore, they now have a remake series, a reimagined series.
Yeah. I think Dragon Age Reimagined looked very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm still shitty at Square Enix for it's been almost a full generation. Just give me Kingdom Hearts 4, man. Like, you know, I've seen it's been like 1,000 days and I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Besides the screenshot.
I gotta go back. I really do want to go back and play through. Yeah. I've only played 1, 2, and 3. So I have not played Dream Drop, Distance, and 340,
Birth
whatever.
by Sleep.
Yeah.
Birth by Sleep is the best.
I need to find it maybe over the Christmas period where things typically quiet down, even though Metroid's coming in December.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about like what's a good time to play games.
Never.
Like this has been, like we said, talking about the era. This is a very good year for games.
Incredible year.
Fantastic year. Like one of the best.
Yeah.
Like it's up there with like what is it? Halo 3 was like 2005, 2000.
Yeah, there's like 2007. That's where you get the Bioshock, Uncharted, and then you get 2011. It's like Arkham City, Skyrim, Uncharted 3.
Yeah, this is up there with 2011, 2007.
Red Dead
sorry,
Redemption. Yeah. I thought the direct was really good. I think that watching it, I didn't think that. It's not until afterwards because a lot of the games weren't for me.
Oh, yeah, and Fire Emblem.
Yeah, but when you look at it
good.
As a Nintendo fan, I'd be like, so you're getting a new Mario Tennis. You're getting a new Fire Emblem. You're getting a new Yoshi game. You're getting Metroid. You got Donkey Kong DLC. I mean, what more do you want? As someone who, at the moment, has used their Switch for Donkey Kong and 2 indie games, I was more hoping for something on the level of like a Shinobi type announcement, where it's like some old franchises returning. And it's a type of game I want to play on the go on my Switch, even though I play most of my Switch at home. But I have been playing a lot of games in handheld mode in bed. But for me, I thought the Switch was the Direct was really good. It was missing probably one announcement for me to kind of like, for me personally, that would have like tipped it over the edge. A lot of people, that was probably Fire Emblem, seeing that come back. But I thought Metroid looked great. I was excited.
I agree. I didn't see the hate with the bike.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I like the new suit. The amiibo looks fantastic. I'm even tempted to get the amiibo. Amiibo's going up in price is crazy. I remember seeing this thing. There was this chart of like when they launched it in USD. It was like $10, $12, and even in Australia it was like 15. Yeah. And now it's like $39.99, $49.99, and I'm like, ooh, inflation.
Yeah, it's gone to the point where it's beyond, like, they're just Nintendo statues at this point.
Yeah, that's awesome. If Sony did something like this, You know your boy would be there. But yeah, I thought it was good, borderlining great. Some really creepy things in there. I'm just looking at an image of Poker Pia, which is like
the whole
Ditto.
the Ditto taking
That
human
kid
form
looks
and
like
then-
it's about to touch you inappropriately, you know?
Yeah. Pokepia is a combination of what I think is Animal Crossing cross like Minecraft in a sense,
Yeah,
but with a Pokemon skin.
yeah.
Resident Evil coming to
Yeah,
that was
Resident
cool.
Evil remake integrated for Final Fantasy VII. I think there was a lot of really
Yeah.
good stuff. Donkey Kong getting DLC. A lot of DLC announcements for games that haven't released yet, like Pokemon, which is crazy. I find it funny Nintendo do this thing in their Direct. I think I tweeted this. It's like, let me bring up my tweet because I was laughing to myself whilst watching. Did I tweet this? Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna hit replies. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah. It's like, yeah. Let's show something, then explain what you just saw, and then tell you to please look forward to it. Like that's the Nintendo thing. It's like, here's the trailer for Metroid, and then it's like, what you just saw was a trailer for Metroid launching later this year. Please look forward to it. It's like,
You will like Metroid.
yeah. They're like, they just re-emphasize, and I'm like, man, you can cut this Direct down by literally 10 minutes by just cutting out the whole. What you just saw was the next iteration of a beloved series.
Yeah.
The please look forward to it. I like because that's like a very old school Japanese thing where it's like, please
That's
look
just what
forward
they
to it.
do, man.
They
That's
just
their
love
flavor.
the please look forward to it, and I use that in conversation, like with people that would no way understand the reference.
Yeah.
In work,
Like a
in
little
work
Easter
situations, I do it. Please look forward to it. Like it's just become like part of my vocab, and it's like, what the hell is he talking about? Please look forward to what? But yeah, super excited for Metroid. Super excited to keep playing my Switch, and I think it's funny. I think the Switch 2 will become not my first party box that the Switch 1 was. It would become, my rule is like everything that I can't buy on disc for PlayStation, I'll just get on Switch. Or games that make sense to play on Switch.
Yeah, as long as it runs well. There's a new like a new roguelike that is coming out designed by Bandai Namco that looks kind of interesting. A demo's out now. It's called like Tower of TOWA.
I think it sounds familiar, actually.
Called Tower and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree.
Yes, that name sounds very familiar. Yeah, I got to check that out. There's a few things. I've still got the demo downloaded for the Zelda like that Square Enix are making. Elliot, something the Adventures of Elliot.
Oh yeah, Echoes of Elliot. That
Yeah.
game looks like is good.
Yeah.
I played that demo. That game is Square doing a good job there.
Yeah, so I want to check that out. I've actually gone back and I was playing through. I've done probably about 2 hours. I think I need to give it one more hour. If it doesn't click, I think I need to just put it away. And that is the Trails in the Sky demo. So the first 10 hours are basically available, and then say
You're not vibing.
it's just lacking the cool factor that I think I need to go along with the campiness of a JRPG. Like you think about like Tales of Arise, right? Where it's like
Fun game.
yeah, like, but a cool story about like rebellion and like these superhero, super powered. He's got the big fire sword, and you got the girl with the sniper rifle that can't be touched. It's just missing that. It's a little too wholesome for me. I like my JRPGs, and I know it'll probably do the whole thing where like by the end of the game I'm fighting like God or something. So that's why I'm like, I just want to give it that little bit more because it is just the prologue. But I'm like, if your prologue is 10 hours, I mean, it's free and I'm in between games anyway, so I'm going to give it to the 19th, which is, I've got 4 more days to keep at it. But if it doesn't click, I think I'm just going to go, all right, I think I'm going to re-divert to Hell Is Us before Ghost of Yotai and Time Stranger come out.
Yeah, I respect that. Yeah, you like I said, there's too many games. You gotta
Final Fantasy Tactics are coming.
Sometimes you miss out. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
See, this is the thing. JRPGs take up the most time, but they're probably one of my favorite genres of games.
I agree. I actually think it's my favorite style of game. I just think I'm very particular, and because I haven't got that old school appreciation. I don't have the time for like, it gets great after 40 hours. Like, I just need immediate hook.
gratification.
Final Fantasy VII remake type, like, and not even on that level. Metaphor worked, but I think it had the hook. I think the story was...
It did.
And it does that whole, like I
Compelling.
said, like that epicness that I think JRPGs need. And I'm assuming Trails builds to that. So that's why I'm like, I'll give it a little bit more time. Usually by now I would have been like, maybe not for me.
So you would not be Tales of Symphonia would not be like a game for you, because that game is very wholesome.
No. Arise was great.
Whereas like Final Fantasy X, epic game.
Yeah. Man. Once this PlayStation handheld comes out, that's, I think, my time where it's like, I'm going back. Kingdom Hearts, like, you know, this is the time where, all right, Switch, you've done a good job. Good boy, go to bed. But now it's the big boys are playing. So, yeah. I
got 10 HD on Switch. Yeah. I've been playing that. Anyway, yes. Sorry.
Yeah. And apparently Final Fantasy IX is getting a remake, maybe still. I don't know. There was the rumors that it got cancelled. But they're releasing all these figures and things. It's like, something's got to happen, right?
Something's going on. Like, Square did their whole restructure, which I am thankful that they did. They cut a whole lot of fat.
Yeah.
So, and like, you're kind of seeing it a little bit now. Like, they're doing Dragon, like...
They're doubling down on their, like, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Kingdom Hearts, you know, like... They just
like
got to...
doing smaller projects with their, like, their titles, like Echoes of Elliot.
Yeah, I just think... Like, and maybe this is just me. It would go a long way to not name these the most ridiculous things ever.
Yeah, of course.
Like, Octopath Traveler. Like, like Adventures of Elliot. Can't we come up with something a little cooler than that? Like, you got these titans like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest. And then you've got the Adventures of Elliot.
Echoes of Elliot.
Whatever. I looked into the eye of the great fish, mammal, whatever. But anyway, I think we can safely wrap this up here. Interesting episode. I
quite liked it.
I sat there thinking, this is not my best work. I think my analysis is a bit all over the place. But I will put it down to worrying that I was going to sneeze. The more I was talking, the more I'm getting the urge. Like, even right now.
Okay.
The urge to sneeze.
I don't know my excuse then. I had no urge to sneeze. I was just...
There's a few pregnant pauses in this, wasn't there? It was just like, Josh is not breathing, and Vinny's choosing not to talk to fill the air.
Yeah. I was more like, I was more confused, being like, what is he doing? I'm like, oh no, he's sneezing.
Yes. Yeah. But the show must go on, and each fortnight we will be here now. But yeah, please look forward to future content. We did an episode last week where what did we do last time? We spoke about, was it the console gaming, death of consoles?
Yes.
Oh, the multi-platform future. That's what it was. A really good episode, if I don't say so myself. Probably some of my best work.
Probably our best work.
Yeah, some of our best work. We did an episode prior to that talking through the resurgence of handhelds. We've done a Claire Obscure spoiler cast. Like I said, I'm hoping to talk to our friends at Pop Culturists on... Oh, he's going to sneeze. For Metal Gear Solid Delta, and have a spoiler cast discussion. I'll be well and truly over my hay fever. I'll have my notes. Man.
Oh, you'll be back.
I'm back. I'll be back. I'm feeling a little back now. I started off strong, died off very quickly into the episode, and now I'm back. And now you're sneezing. So I think that's a sign
your hay fever carried over.
It's a sign for us to wrap it up. But this has been another episode. For the algorithm's sake, we do say please like, share, and let us know in the comments when you think the best era for video games. When was your golden era? And then tell us why we're just generally wrong. I like there was a comment in one of our shorts where I think it was the shorts of like why or how I eat cereal out of a mug or something. And one of the comments was just, why?
Why?
Yeah. There's no, don't get into the mind of Joshua LaRosa. It's a dark place, a lot of things happening. You know, you might get hurt. But remember to, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. If you're out there in the world, touch some wood, right? Tap your head, count to 3. But with that, Vinny, send us away.
May the power protect you.
Goodbye.